What's going on, guys? This is Lucius Coal with another episode of the Sanity stream. Today, we're going to be breaking down the latest culture war news and everything going around the United States of America. Absolute chaos in this clown show, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get straight into it. For those of you who haven't seen, obviously the Chauvin trial is over. The verdict has been reached. But ladies and gentlemen, you can add a new police shooting to the list. Ladies and gentlemen, today we have new news coming out of the body cam footage of a 16-year-old girl in Columbus, Ohio being shot by a police officer. You're going to be seeing a lot of misinformation that's going to be presented by the legacy media and the propaganda arm of the state. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at the actual footage itself. With that said, I will lay a disclaimer here. This is some really messed up footage. And again, I'm going to be pausing at a specific part in this video because of the censorship overlords and etc. I think you know what we're talking about. With that said, let's get into it. So man arrives on the scene. Girl comes in with a knife. Girl falls down. Girl then turns to go stab this girl in the pink. He's mid-strike. And right here is where she is shot dead. And it's really tragic that this had to happen. It's absolutely insane that we're living in the United States right now, and this seems to happen over and over and over again. But in this particular situation, this was a good shoot. You have somebody coming out, brandishing a weapon, and trying to attack other people, stab them, kill them, murder them. And here we have a cop that's coming on the scene, has really no idea about what's going on. And the next thing you know, you have a knife-wielding person. I don't care if she's 16 years old. She doesn't look 16 years old. That's for a fact. She looks like a grown woman in this, slicing and dicing with a weapon. Do we want to live in a world where a terrorist can hold the knife to a child's neck and the cops aren't able to respond to that until after he murders an innocent victim? There has to be an equal law across all people in the United States of America. That is the only way. The only possible way that we have a true land, home of the free, where laws are actually established and followed by every single person. But unfortunately, that's not the place we live. So, for those of you who don't know, obviously Chauvin, this is his new picture out of prison right now. And given all the circumstances that led to George Floyd's death and actually reviewing the evidence itself, I think this was a mistake. I do believe I can understand the reasoning as to why he may get something like manslaughter. But to say during the Chauvin trial that he himself was trying to kill George Floyd makes absolutely no sense to me. Minneapolis and particularly Minnesota law they don't really address this. If you follow people like Barnes Law or Viva Frei, they talk about this quite a bit. Each individual state has a series of checks and balances, but in the law itself, there are rudimentary differences between each state. Not every single state has the same exact type of terminology when it leads to assault and murder and stuff like that. And ultimately, the jury was tainted. This was the most showcased trial probably in the history of the world. Not only that, but there was mob violence all year round, over a year of rioting all across the United States of America. And these people were scared for their lives. You have people out there you have people saying, like Maxine Waters, actual representatives going out there and stating outright that he should have been charged with first-degree murder. And that, anything less is an injustice. I mean, this guy is going to jail for the rest of his life. But there's no way this man was going to get a fair trial. And that's the difference. These Marxists, these race hustlers, these people that seek to divide and destroy and ignite tensions on tribal lines, those people only care about one thing: power. It doesn't really matter what the truth is. Ultimately, that matters is that the mob wanted something and the mob got something. And that's just the way I see it. I think police officers need to be held to a very high standard. I think it's absolutely absurd that some of the physical standards of some of the police officers I see are absolutely abhorrent. In terms of this entire thing, I'm not going to die, fighting on the Hill for Chauvin. He was a dirty cop. They already have him on tax evasion. The feds do. So, I mean, either way, this man was going to jail regardless of the outcome of this particular jury. So I think he has a great deal in terms of an appeal. I don't see any reason why he shouldn't be granted an appeal, given the fact that the entire situation was in Minneapolis. There's no way that guy is going to get a fair jury in terms of that particular situation. So with that said, that's just how it is. For those of you who haven't seen this, the lockdown measures across the United States are so Orwellian and dystopian. It's actually shocking. So the way this works is this woman, who the hospital claimed had COVID, took away her child that she just birthed. So she got to hold a child for a few minutes, only for the hospital to take the child away from the mother. And this is supposed to be science. For a 99 point, some people would, 9.7, 9.8. Get your vitamin D, people. Be physically active. Don't be obese. You'll be completely fine. This is a total joke. This is totalitarianism. This is authoritarianism. And people vote for this type of stuff because people are easily scared. People are sheep. People are just obese, fat, and lazy, and they want everything done for them. And this is why you see the state and government overreaching over and over and over again. It's not just as if the world just magically becomes a totalitarian state. It's not as if fascism just comes in and immediately in the history books, now it's known. No, it comes in gradually. You see, they enforce these lockdown measures. They go out there and take children away from their mothers. Away from their mothers. These people are evil. Evil. You see what's going on in Canada right now. Ontario is currently experiencing a lockdown where if you leave your house, you're required, if the police stop you, to, quote, show your papers. Sounds really interesting. Sounds really familiar. And that's why they don't want history. That's why they don't want you to remember the founding fathers. That's the reason why schools are teaching all this garbled cultist nonsense and not actually teaching people critical thinking skills for themselves. It's a joke, but I think we all know that at this point. To wrap it up, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to end it on hopefully a happier note, and that would be Bitcoin. For those of you who have listened or haven't listened, I've brought this up basically, every couple episodes, and I think it's personally, I am not giving legal advice. I am not a trader or I'm not an expert, so to speak, but I do have a decent chunk of change in Bitcoin and Ethereum, and I'm also putting some pledges towards Unicorn and Chainlink, but those ones really, Bitcoin and Ethereum are just two ways of actually keeping the monetary value of the dollar. Because you probably see the price of gas right now. You probably see the price of food right now. It's an inflation that isn't actually talked about, but people feel it. People feel it because they don't have as much food in their stomachs. They're not able to travel as much because gas is more expensive. And this is the world that people voted in, quote unquote, right? People totally voted for this, right? It totally was not a stolen election, guys. Totally didn't happen that way at all. But that's where we live. We live in a techno-fascist state. But with that said, keep pushing back against the narrative. At this point, I would just say just turn off the news. If you got family members who are just constantly just a constant garble of legacy media nonsense, just tell them to turn off the TV. They'll probably be a lot happier. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, if you like this type of content, go down below, like, subscribe, share. I'll see you guys in the next one. Love ya. Peace. Coltrane. Choo-choo! Yeah. Rest in peace.